Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the Nintendo Famicom system. Let's go heal up in the Finn Inn here. Hey, that rhymed. Before heading back to the Cyclone. So, we got a little bit of treasure, now we're going to head back into the Cyclone to go hunting for some vampire ladies. So, that's where the title of this episode comes from. The Belmonts. They're the vampire hunting family from the Castlevania series. I've done 2 playthroughs of Castlevania. Oh, 3. I have Castlevania The Adventure, which is just a regular, like, playthrough. No ratty names. And then I have with Tiger Mouse and Monkey Rat for Castlevanias 2 and 4. So check them out if you're a fan of Castlevania. Those are the only 3 Castlevania games I really play. 2 because it's different and it's more like a puzzler type game. Action-adventure than a straight action game, and 4 I grew up with on Super Nintendo, and the adventure I grew up with on Game Boy. So the other ones like 1, 3, they're all like really hard. But they're fun speedruns to watch. People who are really good at them are very interesting to watch, but don't have the skills to do them. But yeah, the anime, if you don't mind like language and some like sexual situations, is actually really good on Netflix. Wouldn't like let kids watch it, but if you're an adult, it has a really good story to it. Of course it is violence. It's rated for mature audiences. But yeah, it expands on the lore. Really neat. So good storytelling. So I used to watch it when I would donate platelets. Well, I still donate platelets, but I've since managed to see all the 4 seasons of it. I think they're going to do a new one based on the Symphony of the Night series, which occurs much later in the has Richter Belmont, who's a really popular, one of the more famous Belmonts. So, because he stars in he's the Belmont in Symphony of the Night, which a lot of people say is like the best Castlevania game. It started off the whole Metroidvania genre, which is like Castlevania mixed with Metroid, where Metroid was you ran around, explored areas, and unlocked new items to open up progress in the world. Metroidvanias are like that. You run around Dracula's castle and look for items to increase your ability to go to different places in the castle. So it's the new, I think there's like 3 types of Castlevanias. There's like the classic Castlevanias, then there's the Metroidvanias, and then they had the 3D type Castlevanias, which were like the reboots. The Lord of Shadow series, which is kind of like an action 3D series. So, but let's get back into our game here. We are looking for the vampire lady. They're you can also encounter them in 2 dungeons from now. Not the next dungeon, but the one after that. But they're very rare. They're kind of rare here too. I think there's only an 18.8% chance to run into them. So 1 in 5 chance, which isn't that bad. The greater chance would be is like 37% chance. The 1 in 3. But for some reason, it took me a while to actually find the vampire ladies in here. So they come in with a bunch of henchwomen, the vampire girls. So we ran into the vampire girls in Mysidia Tower and around Mysidia area when approaching it from the north. So. But yeah, we gotta hunt down the vampire lady. Like I said, she's in other dungeons, but she's much rarer in future dungeons, so I might as well try to find her here. So, gives us a bunch of chance to, build up our stats, because we got a kind of a tough mini-boss coming up. It's funny, the mini-boss is actually going to be tougher than the final boss of this area, which is the Emperor. So, spoiler. Yes, someone was, I think it was Gordon, Prince Gordon was like, I wonder if I think it was him who said that, I wonder if the Emperor is, inside the Cyclone. Well, it turns out he will be in the Cyclone. So, but, he's a rank 6 monster. We'll get his stats later, but, the mini-boss I'm talking about is a rank 7 monster. the general. And he does not save you money on car insurance. I always see those ads when I'm at the gym running. They play a lot on HGTV. Although I haven't been watching a lot of HGTV at the gym recently. I've changed my gym hours at work to 3 o'clock. Because 3 o'clock the Outer Limits come on. And I enjoy watching little sci-fi stuff. So, the episodes. Yeah, just finished season 1. They just basically play the new rebooted version, not the, I think it was the 60s or the 50s or 60s there was a version, but then they rebooted it, and I think from 95 until 2003 there was 8 seasons, I believe. Yeah, they just play them back to back, 2 episodes a day, from 3 to 5. So I go to the gym, do my hour run, catching an episode of The Outer Limits. So, like I said, they just started season 2. I caught the finale of season 1, I think on Wednesday. So, they'd be what? About 5 episodes into season 2 now. So, eventually, I guess if I just keep going, well, I have no plans to ever stop going to the gym. So, especially at work, because I get paid to go to the gym. So, it's one of those health initiatives. The government subsidizes my health care, so in order to reduce costs, they encourage their employees to go to the gym and do something to be active. So yeah, 3 hours a week we get paid time to go to the gym. So just go to the gym and then use my half-hour lunch afterward to get my shower and stuff, and so I get basically an hour and a half of free time basically to work out. So 3 times a week, do my jogs. So trying to get back to what I used to be, a pretty decent runner. Right now I'm doing 7.5 miles in an hour. So I used to, man, when I was in the army, I was a stud. I did the army 10 miler in a little over 63 minutes. So it was basically a 6 minute 18 second pace for 10 miles was my pace. I was like 400 and some out of 18,000 runners. So top runner on my team at Fort Meade, but I've gotten old and fat. So yeah, it'll be 20 years since I last did that. I ran the 2003 Army 10 miler when I was doing advanced individual training at Fort Meade, Maryland. So I haven't run any longer races since. So just started recently doing, because at work I became the morale rep for our division, the training division. So I have to go to morale meetings, and we hold a weekly 5K, monthly 5K. So I'm starting to do them. So maybe one day I'll plan on doing the Newport News and Hampton have a marathon, half marathon. It's called the One City Marathon. Where basically the 2 cities get together and do a marathon every March. So it's coming up soon. But they have a half marathon and a marathon. So yeah, I plan on doing that one day. Both of them. So my friend just recently did a first marathon ever. The Philadelphia Marathon. Took him like a little over 6 hours, so it wasn't like super fast paced, but be able to say that he did it, that's pretty awesome. So good for him. Keith from college. So yep. So one day I gotta put that on my bucket list. Half marathon. So I get quite a lot of weapons here and armors and stuff like that. Luckily, there's not too much more treasure in here. So yeah, overall, this dungeon isn't that big. This has, like I said, a high encounter rate, and I'm not running into the encounters that I want to, which is bad. But Fess is given plenty of time to work on that Asuna spell, so I'm trying to get that up to level 8. At level 7, it can cure everything already, but 8 would just give an extra casting. 7 is the last thing that it can cure. It can cure the KO status. So They'll give Maxine a chance to work on her other attack spells as well. Trying to get lightning, I think, is the only one we need to get to level 7 yet. And I guess occasionally she can get her other spells up there a little bit. So we'd have to work another spell if we ended up getting that coast spell dropped off of those captains there. So, but we sadly are not having any luck getting the coast tome drop, just like we're not having any luck finding the vampire ladies. So, but eventually we will just, you know, the odds will we'll eventually get it. So, as long as it's not like the thankfully they're not the. There's very few enemies that have the 1 in 64 chance. This optional super boss of the game has a 1 in 64 chance. That I had so much trouble finding the 1 in 64 chance, the Iron Golem in Final Fantasy 1. My second playthrough of it. My first playthrough, it was weird. I got it with Marty, Mouse, Milo, Wibbly, and Fibs. I just got it randomly walking around. It wasn't farming at all. I was just walking back from the Mazmune, finding the Mazmune on the Temple of Fiends air basement floor, and I just ran into them. I was walking to fight Tiamat, the boss of that floor, and boom, ran into the thing. Not even looking for it. Now with the second playthrough, I did Chip Nichols. Chip Nichols, Albert, and Bees. I had to do it in the bonus episode when I had max characters, and it took me like an hour and a half about to find the enemy. So yeah, definitely more than 64 battles to run into it. So it's all luck of the draw on, you know, your encounter table, what you run into. So I think speedrunners have worked it out. Like they know the exact way so they can, you know, in the tool-assisted speedrun, so they can manipulate encounters to get favorable ones to run from or easily defeat. But when I play the games, I just kind of go through casually, so I try to put like good strats that people can use, but I don't like do anything super duper like that you would need, you know, special skills to do. So the strategy I use are ones that pretty much anybody can do. The average gamer can use. So, because I'm pretty much the average gamer, I guess. If you consider me a gamer, I think that's a term that, you know, goes around to people who devote their whole hobbies to playing games. I guess my hobbies would be just, you know, writing and playing with the animals. So, they're doing all well. Spartacus and Princess Guinevere, who will be getting 2 brothers tomorrow, Bub and Bob. So, speaking of animals, if you're watching this on the day I release it, February 11th, tomorrow, the February 12th, is the Puppy Bowl. I think it's the 19th Puppy Bowl on Animal Planet. It's the Super Bowl equivalent. Their programming. They have a bunch of little puppies play in a little football stadium. If they take a toy across the end zone, they get, you know, 7 points. They don't have to kick extra points, but they can kick field goals if they accidentally kick a toy over the goal line. They get a field goal for 3 points. If they carry it in their mouth over the goal line, that's when they get the full 7 points for a touchdown and extra points. So. Cockatrices here, which look like eagles, which is my dad's favorite team. So, being a Pennsylvania native, he's always rooting for the Eagles, so gotta root for the Eagles this thing. It'd only be their second Super Bowl if they win, so I think Kansas City won 3. I think that's what the sports show said on the radio. Kansas City has 3 titles under their belt, and Eagles have 1, so the Eagles won it just recently, like about 6 years ago. I was always happy for my dad because he was always wondering if the Eagles would ever win a championship in his lifetime. They're the only Phillies team that he wasn't alive that didn't win a championship in his life, because he was around in the, I think, 70s and 80s when the Sixers were good, and the Flyers, I think, were good in the early 90s. Phillies won in 90, and then in the 2010 time frame, 2007 to 10 time frame, I think they won. They actually won the World Series this year too. So, or for 2022, the most recent baseball season, as the wild card. So, yeah, a lot of people wrote them off because they went in as the wild card. My head boss at work, he's also from the Philadelphia area, and so we were always talking, and I said to him, I was like, well, hey, last year the Braves were the wild card, same division, and they went on to win the World Series, so you never know, it's just who's hot at the time, but so they made it all the way to the World Series, but were outplayed by the Houston Astros, who were really, really good, so I think they were the favorite to win it all. So once the postseason started, they might have the best record or the second best record in all of baseball. So I don't remember offhand, but yeah, they were the definite projected winners. So that the Phillies took them 6 games is pretty good. So can't complain about that. So like I said, that would be nice if the Eagles could win it. So interesting series though, because Kansas City, the team that the Eagles are playing against tomorrow in the Super Bowl, they're coached by Andy Reid, who used to be the Eagles coach for several years. I never really followed football, but I remember that, growing up, since my dad watched it all the time, he was the Eagles coach. So, but then he had a few bad seasons, so they got rid of him. He was really good. He'd get him into the NFC the game before the Super Bowl. He did, I think 3 or 4 years in a row. But then he could never seal the deal. Get to the Super Bowl. And I think they just got rid of him then. And then he got picked up by Kansas City, and he's been doing pretty good at Kansas City. So always interesting to it's the new coach versus their old team, so but we'll see. So I won't watch the Super Bowl. I'll watch the Puppy Bowl though, so get some good exercise in, since I don't have the TV over here, but luckily the gym on their treadmills has the TV hooked up to it, so I can put on Animal Planet and check out those puppies playing football. So they used to just give the puppies football toys, but now they're just a whole series of toys. They can carry a bone across the goal line, or a tennis ball. It still counts as if they took a football. So I always wonder how my dog would be in the puppy bowl. He's the right size for it because he's a Chihuahua, so he's only a little over 5 pounds. There's some puppies in there that are bigger than him, but Spartacus is not a dog. So, don't know if it's because of his upbringing or the time he spent in the shelter. So, he was a rescue dog who spent about 3 weeks in the shelter. So, I was there when he was brought in, and then no one wanted him, so I was like, I'm gonna go pick him up. But speaking of wanting things, we finally got the encounter we wanted. The vampire lady, who's the green one up there in the upper left. So, rank 6 enemy, like the vampire girls that she is leading, weak against fire. So let's put that wyvern to use. The wyvern will cast Blaze 7 on all enemies. So let's see how much damage that does. The vampire lady didn't do anything, so she can use the charm spell like the vampire girls can do. Probably at a higher rank level, I think maybe rank 8. So, since she's a little tougher. The vampire girls are rank 5. As I said, the vampire lady, rank 6. So, her stats are on the screen. So, multi-targeting fire spell here. Gonna deal some decent damage, even though, like I said, its effectiveness is reduced by a 4th. Well, let's see how the Blaze 7 does. Did some decent damage there. Might be able to take out some of these vampire girls. Yeah, did one. Let's see if it takes out the others. So, 2. Are we gonna go 4 for 4? 3. Let's go. And 4. Nice. So, multi-targeting worked out pretty good there. So, let's, Booker, maybe let's see if he can finish off the vampire lady here. Nope. Poor hit there. Boo. So, hoping to finish it off before Maxine went. No, it's a Charm 9 spell, so even higher than 1 level higher than what I thought. So, yeah, maybe I should have put Rickard on the flame bow, but I wasn't thinking. All these the vampire ladies, vampire girls, because they're undead, have that fire weakness. So, da-dunk. All right. So we finally got the vampire lady that we wanted. So, woohoo! Now we can move up. Yeah, the vampire lady is only on the first and second floor. So, kind of a rare encounter there. It's not so rare as these guys. We've run into quite a few of them. So, they look like wooden statues. So you think they'd be weak to fire, but they're not. So. They're, whatchamacallit, much later, I believe, a palette swap of them, the Death Riders, are weak to fire, though. I guess being Death Riders, they're considered undead, so, I don't know if they're considered undead, though. I'd have to look at my bestiary, but I know they have the Drain attack, so. Those annoying enemies that have drain type attacks, like the Blood Sword, takes off 1/16 of a character's max hit points. Not their current hit points, their max hit points per hit. So that's why the Blood Sword is, really, really broken. Because, like I said, say you have somebody like Booker who has a sword rank of 8. He can take off half the boss's health if all 8 of his hits connect. Take out any enemy in 2 attack rounds if 8 and 8 hit. So, and our next party member will also be pretty good in swords. We'll have a rank 8 in swords, just like how Rickard does. So you have a Booker, if he's just, or like whatever character, if you've just been working on them with swords, should have definitely an 8 rank sword. And so 2 characters with 8 rank swords, give them the 2 blood swords, any boss can potentially fall in 1 round. So, extremely broken. So, yeah, I'm not going to be using it, but yes, other people say other spells are broken too, but, like Haste and Berserk, which gives extra attacks, so, another warp spell. Alright, so let's head up this staircase here, and we'll pause here at the top of the staircase, because we got this, symmetrical type room, and that's usually a sign that there's something good in it, so, or a boss, but we're not close enough to a boss, but get that hourglass. That casts stop on when used as an item, so that might be good for that mini boss that I talked about, the general, but we'll meet him in the next episode. Take care, have a good day. Bye!